Hello and welcome to Live with the Paper Pixie, episode 389. I'm Julie DiMatteo, the Paper Pixie, coming to you live from Alpharetta, Georgia. Today is Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. If you're watching us live, say hello and where you're watching from. And if you're watching us on replay, welcome. Thanks for watching. I want to give a special shout out to my Pixie patrons. You will recognize them in the live chat with the magic wand icon next to their name. They support the channel here and we're so grateful for them. I did send them a message on YouTube. Tomorrow night would typically be my members only stream, but this week is bonkers with travel, and we'll get to all the detail. I've got all kinds of stuff to share with you, but my Pixie Patron live stream for the month of September will be next Thursday, September 25th. I want to give out a special thank you to Donna Dew and Susan Laufrey for your super chats. Thank you guys so much. That means the world to me. You're so sweet. You don't have to do that, but thank you so much. So tonight's going to be a little bit different. I do have a quick and easy project that I'm going to share with you. We'll save that till the end. But I wanted to share with you the Million Sales Achiever Retreat and sort of what the experience was like, because I'm so very grateful for each and every one of you for your support. And I want to just share what that experience was from my perspective. So we'll get into those details. Let's see. What else do I have to tell you? There's a couple of things tomorrow. Well, let me get to this first. If you've got a question during the stream, put a Q in front of that question. That will make it into my queue. I'm going to save all of your questions until the end of tonight's live stream. That way I can focus on sharing with you the Million Sales Achiever Retreat details, as well as the really quick project I have for you. And then I will answer all of your questions at the end. So put a Q in front of that. Do save the Q for questions. That helps me out. When you shop with me, you can earn Stampin' Rewards on orders of $20 or more with Stampin' Up's new Stampin' Rewards program that launched in April. You just need to have a Stampin' Up! Online account and opt into the Stampin' Rewards program to start earning. Totally free to earn, but orders of $20 or more after any coupons or Stampin' Rewards applied will earn 10% back in Stampin' Rewards, and those Stampin' Rewards are good for 12 months. So you can save them up to use them on something special, or you can use them as you earn them. It's your rewards your way, and I absolutely love it. Demonstrators also earn Stampin' Rewards as well. And if you make the decision to go from customer to demonstrator, your Stampin' Rewards go with you and vice versa. So it's a really, really cool program. Tomorrow, September 18th, 2025, from midnight Mountain Time to 11:59 p.m., there is a stamp sale, and it is 15% off all stamps. Those of you that have been shopping Stampin' Up! For many years, typically the stamp sale is only on annual catalog stamp sets, but we've been begging them to offer it to all stamp sets. So all stamp sets tomorrow only will be 15% off, plus stamp tools. And that includes things like the Simply Chamois, the Stampin' Scrub, Stampin' Mist, Clear Blocks, Stays On Cleaner. So, if you go to the stamps category in the Stampin' Up! Online store, and what I'll do after the stream is I'll add a link to that category in the store so you can take a look. Again, that's going to be 15% off today or tomorrow only, September 18th, 2025. So that's that. And then also put a little reminder on your calendar for September 23rd. Stampin' Up! Is launching a 12 Days of Christmas Advent calendar. It's going to be while supplies last. And let's see, it opens to demonstrators and customers all at the same time. It's 12, like I said, 12 days of Christmas. The products in it are, I got to see them at the Million Sales Achiever Retreat. They are all occasion. So it's a really great Christmas gift idea, but the products in it, I'm not going to give away anything. The value is much higher than the price tag, I will tell you that. And it's just a very amazing thing. It's the first time Stampin' Up! Is offering this. I think it's going to be a big seller. So if you're interested, plan to purchase one starting on September. Wait, the 23rd? Am I saying? Yeah, the 23rd. I have September 25th in my mind, which is next week. So yeah, it's next Tuesday, okay? I'll have more details for those of you that are on my email list. I'll share that as we get closer. All right, let's see. What are we gonna do next? I think we're gonna do, if I go to this, is it hands-on? Okay, hold on. Actually, I have a ton of show and tell for you. So I'm gonna come back to this screen really quickly in case you have questions. And then we'll go back to hands-on, but I want to kind of give you a rundown of the Million Sales Achiever Retreat. So really quickly, I was Stampin' Up's 86th demonstrator worldwide to earn $1 million in sales. And I have to add a disclaimer, fewer than 1% of demonstrators worldwide achieve that result. So there were 13 achievers that were in Salt Lake City with me. So I want to make sure I name all of their names because they're all my new best friends. Amy Combs, Brian King, who is my upline. Quick sidebar, he was the 85th Million Sales Achiever. So it was super special to be back to back with my upline, my amazing upline, and also share this trip with him as well. So Amy Combs, Brian King, Dawn Griffith, she was there for her 3 million sales achievement. Denise Sullivan, Erica Serwin, she was there for 2 million. These people are amazing. Jill Olson, who's demonstrator number 5, which I love her story. Lynn Feldkamp, Melissa Ellis, Michelle Litwiller, Susan Campfield, Wendy Knowles, and Sophie Prestrel from France. So that was the group of us that were there. And we traveled to Salt Lake City from Atlanta. That's where Brian and I are from. And Brian came with me. We all had each of us brought a special guest. It was either a spouse or a daughter. It was a really, really cool group of people. So we arrived in Salt Lake City on Tuesday. And Nathan, our chauffeur, picked us up from the airport and we went and stayed at, Little America. Is that right? I'm looking at Brian. I told him he's going to have to help me fill in the blanks. So we stayed at Little America. And then that first evening we had dinner with Sarah and Shelly. So all 13 of us plus our plus ones and Sarah and Shelly at Ivy and Varley, which turned out to be I was right across the street from the Salt Palace. For those of you who are demonstrators and have attended some of the older conventions or on stages when they were in Salt Lake City, we were right by the main entrance to the Salt Palace. So that was dinner. And then when we got back to our rooms, we had our first round of pillow gifts. So it was let me see if I'm going to try to do a little bit of holding up to the camera and then also showing hands-on. But we got 2 of these woven bags, which I was like, I have to figure out how to fit these into my luggage. One was filled with all kinds of Utah/Salt Lake City treats. So not all of the stuff made it home with us, but we kept the stuff we definitely wanted to share with the kiddos. Brian and I traveled in just a backpack, so we had to play Tetris with our things, but most of these treats I've never had before, but these are Lime Ricky buttermints, but they are a lime raspberry flavor, delicious. And then we had Bear Lake raspberry from Taffy Town, so Taffy. That was delicious, and we were giggling about this because I thought that these were gummy bears. And Brian had a free day. And I had gone to do something else with other demonstrators, and I came back and goes, those aren't gummy bears. So it's actually soap, but they smell like gummy bears. Luckily, Brian didn't try one before he figured out that they were soap, but they're so cute. So that's just a few things that I'm trying to think what else there was. There was crackers, there was salsa, lots of really good candies. Was there anything else in there that I'm thinking of? Oh, we had toffee. It was toffee popcorn, right? A big bag of toffee popcorn, which we snacked on in the hotel room. So that was one of the baskets. The other basket, which is the exact same one, but there was 2, I'm going to show Brian's first, 2 hydro jugs. So I think this was the first time they did this for the Million Sales Achiever Retreat. They gave us hydro jugs so that we would have something to drink water during the day for the Stampin' Up! Home office tour. So this one was Brian's. And then this one was mine, and we all had different colors, patterns, etc. I love the floral pattern, but the Achievers had little, I call these bag charms, but it had my initial, and it did have my, I think it was my birthstone, but somewhere along the way the birthstone fell out. So anyways, hard to see, but there's a little bag charm. I had that actually hanging on my handbag the other day as well. So that was very cool. We all had these awesome hydro jugs, and they're what, 32 ounces, I think? Let's see. So that was pillow gifts in the room. Oh, the other thing, and I'll show a couple more things when I flip the camera. I forgot to put my glasses on. They're probably behind me. I was like, something looks different on my face. I forgot my glasses. Brian also got a $50 gift card. And that was wrapped in, all the boxes were wrapped with coordinating products from the Modern Christmas suite that's in the online exclusives. And I'll show you a couple of things from that. And then I got a reminder of the Tiffany shopping experience, which I'll tell you more about that as well. So that was Tuesday night, dinner at Ivy and Varley, and then pillow gifts in the room. Then Wednesday morning, we had breakfast in the hotel and a charter bus to take us to the Stampin' Up! Home office, which is about 30 minutes outside of Salt Lake City in Riverton. So we had assigned seats on the charter bus, and that was in order of how we were going to enter the atrium at the Stampin' Up! Home offices. So I'm already getting emotional just thinking about it. Okay, so we pulled up to the home office, and we were all in order on the bus of when we would enter. And as we got off the bus, we were greeted by one of the Stampin' Up! Employees, and they had asked us ahead of time to list, you know, names of people that we knew personally from the Stampin' Up! Home office team. And they greeted us with a huge bouquet of flowers, our favorite flowers with our favorite color ribbon. So I had purple ribbon, and I had lilies and dragon, what were the? Snapdragons, and it was a gorgeous bouquet of flowers, like huge. Think holding a baby huge. Some of us were joking about how we felt like we were holding babies. And then, so we were greeted by our Stampin' Up! Employee. Mine was Heather Lambert, who's the South DDM, and that was a super special hello. And then we got to enter the Stampin' Up! Home office. Man. And the atrium at the home office is gorgeous. It's like skylights, and then it's this big round rotunda of an atrium, and there was Stampin' Up! Employees from corner to corner, edge to edge, you know, cheering and clapping and noisemakers, and it was overwhelming, but also just super special. And then we were greeted by Sarah and Shelly, big hugs there, and then those of us that were kind of towards the front of the line got to cheer the folks that were towards the back of the line. They obviously did Erica and Dawn towards the end as they reached their 2 million and 3 million respectively. And then, so that was super special. And I've seen it before on video, but never experienced it obviously in person. And it was just emotional, but in all the good ways. It was a, reflection of all the hard work and the journey that it took to get to that point, and then just to feel that genuine celebration of of all of it. So it was really, really incredible. So then after we had that amazing grand welcome, they whisked our bags and our flowers away for us so we didn't have to worry about it. And then we started doing some of the home office tour. Started with business updates, and I'm really excited about what's to come. We got to hear some amazing business updates, and then we got to tour different parts of the Stampin' Up! Home office. So we started with the photo and video. So the photo room, which continues to expand, Dirk and his team keep expanding. And it was just very cool to see how they take photos for the catalog and all the different lights and cameras and props and things that they use. And it just really was a cool way to see, like what we see in the catalog and how that comes together behind the scenes. That was very awesome. And then the video one with all the gadgets and things. And as you know, I've been doing live streaming for a while. So I saw a couple of the gadgets that I use at the home office. That was kind of fun to see. And just the whole production setup they had. So very, very cool to see behind the scenes there. Then we went to demonstrator support, which I'm gonna do show and tell for this one. I'm gonna flip the camera, so hang tight. And if I forget any show and tell, I'll come back to it, but hopefully you guys are enjoying seeing this stuff. So for demonstrator support, let me take this out of the protective sleeve. You guys, all achievers got this amazing scrapbook layout, Falling for our Million Sales Achievers. And these are photos and autographs from all of the demonstrator support agents. And then any of my customers who have called in to support, these are the amazing humans that help you out. I have so much love for our demonstrator support folks because I can't do my job without their assistance. And they cheered as we walked in. They had a trail mix bar for us. We got to sign their wall, and then we got to just chit chat with each other. And it was so cool to actually meet and hug in person demo support agents that I recognize from their name or their voices from when I've called in for assistance with my customers' orders and my own orders as well. But these are those flip flaps that came over from close to my heart, but they're such a cool thing, and I've seen them used in so many different ways. So it's basically a photo sleeve that has adhesive and a little folded piece that allows you to add these additional pieces. But it's so cool. I literally just talked to Zachary, I think the day before I left for Salt Lake City. So it was so fun to see him in person. And then we have the two Kims that I talk to frequently. So it was just so cool. It's so awesome to have this to bring home. And there's all of their autographs. How cute is that? It says, from your friendly demonstrator support agents. And they absolutely are the best of the best. So if you ever have a chance to call in to support, they are amazing. So we did that. And then the other cool thing was they all walked around, or they all went around and introduced themselves. And then we introduced ourselves and, you know, how long we've been demonstrators and where we live. And it was a very, very cool experience. So that was demo support. Then we went to the distribution center or the warehouse, and we didn't get to go down on the floor, but it was cool. We looked down on the floor and the employees were having a stretching time. I don't know how often they do it during the day, but it's like instructor-led stretching. I thought that was so cool. And then we got to see, it was called what? The Panda machine. I don't know what it stands for, but it's the machine where the boxes come down the assembly line and there's a scanner, so it knows everything it needs to know about the size of the box and where it's going, and then a labeler, and it had this big like arm that knew exactly how tall the box was, and it just instantly applied the shipping label. And then the boxes continued to move down, and depending on whether they were UPS, FedEx, USPS, they literally went down a different belt right into the loading dock. And I don't know if it was the UPS truck that was there while we were there, but the boxes literally were going right into the UPS truck or whichever. I think it was UPS. That's primarily what Stampin' Up! Uses. So that was the distribution center. And then we got to meet with the events team. I think it was events and marketing. I was talking to a couple of achievers and we forgot to take notes, but we did get to see some event sneak peeks and some other sneak peeks that I'm sworn to secrecy, of course, but very, very cool to see some behind the scenes. So that was, let's see, all of that happened before we had lunch that day. And then for lunch we had Del Rio. No, that doesn't sound right. It was like a Chipotle, but really, really good. Was it Del Rio? Anyways, it was like a taco bar. And we got to sit with Scott, who is the CFO, and just visit with other demonstrators. There was also a basketball tournament that I signed up for, but it was the little mini basketball hoops, and I was up against Erica Serwin's husband, Ted, and I lost. I do believe there was a prize involved for whoever made it all the way. It was almost like a Final Four type thing. But I never found out the result of what the free gift was. But anyways. And then I also got to meet my stamp set designer. So it was nice to meet her in person. Looking forward to chatting with her to go over all the details for my stamp set. And then we took the bus back to Little America, and then we were free for dinner. And Brian and I went to Repeal, Repeal. It had jazz music playing. The menu was delicious. It was something that Carly, the recognition person, had suggested, and we loved it. So that was Wednesday. I'm going to flip my notes so that I don't miss anything. And I've got all kinds of show and tell for you coming up, so hang tight. All right. So then Thursday morning, same thing, breakfast at the hotel. And then we went to City Creek for our Tiffany shopping experience. So let me grab... Well, this will just be some things for you to take a peek at, but I'll take the necklace off so that you can see it. So to give you a quick update on the Tiffany shopping experience. So they opened up Tiffany, I think it was about 8:30 in the morning. It was just for Achievers and Sarah and Shelly. And we each were given a $500 gift card to shop with at Tiffany. So right when we walked in, we got I can't think of his name now, but the store manager told us the whole history of Tiffany, lots of things I'd never heard before. So that was really cool to hear Tiffany's history. And Sarah was so sweet. She goes, "So what's the biggest diamond you have?" And then she said, "And can we try it on?" And so they had a 2.5 carat Tiffany setting diamond ring that was $95,000. And we had fun trying it on and taking videos of seeing all the sparkle. So here is what Cafe Rio, thank you, Barb. So here is what I selected. It's an Elsa Peretti initial necklace with the letter J. So what's really cool about this, well, one, I was shopping with Sarah. She was hanging out with me it was my turn to talk to the sales associate. And I had already picked this out ahead of time. And I had noticed on the website that it said not available in stores. And so I was, walked up to the counter to order it, to have it shipped to my house. And the sales associate said, "Hold on a second." And he walked away and he starts going through some cabinets. And he came back, he goes, "There's a question mark next to it. So I think we might have one in stock." And I got all excited. I'm like, "You mean I get to wear it out of the store?" So he found it in with the G's. So I feel like it was meant to be that I got this necklace. I tried on a couple of other things, but ultimately I just loved the look of this. So that's what I got. And it was fun to kind of watch everybody else try things on. Sarah, Brian King, not Brian, my husband, tried on Tiffany sunglasses, and we had so much fun doing that. But I have to watch a video again. We asked the sales associate to show us how he tied the bow, because I don't think I've ever noticed, not that I shop at Tiffany very often. I've shopped there a little bit in the past, but they tie their bows, and some of you may already know this, but they tie it so that so that the bottom of the box is totally flat. And it was really cool to watch him tie it. This got frayed a little bit because this was in my luggage on the way home, but he tied a ribbon on the bow for me since I wore the necklace out of the store. So that was really cool. So I'm going to hang on to that. It's just something beautiful about the Tiffany blue box and ribbon. Now, the other cool thing is the sales associate knew exactly who Stampin' Up! Was, because his aunt who raised him was a really big crafter, and he just moved his aunt from Salt Lake City to Hawaii, and one of his tasks was to save all of the paver stones that his aunt had stamped with Stampin' Up! Stamps. She couldn't leave them behind. She wanted them to come with her to Hawaii, and so he helped move all of those papers. I thought that was such a cool story. Sarah got to hear the story as well. So that was super fun. They had breakfast for us there. They had coffee. It was just an amazing experience, literally breakfast at Tiffany's. So we did that. Then we went to the Stampin' Up! Home office from there. And on our way on the bus, we were handed a 4-page printout of the Swig menu. And if you aren't familiar with Swig, I'm pretty sure it's a Salt Lake City establishment, but it's a soda establishment. And I couldn't even tell you all the different things that are available, but you technically pick your soda base and then you can add different flavoring. So I went with Life's a Peach, and it was Dr. Pepper with vanilla, peach, and half, and it was delicious. So basically, some of the tips and tricks from locals were to pick your base and then pick your favorite flavors, and that'll kind of help you decide what you want to order. So they took our order on the bus, and that was for later on in the day, but we all figured out in 30 minutes what we wanted to order from Swig. Then we went to the home office and we broke into 2 different groups. I was part of group 1, and that allowed us to do tours again in smaller groups. So we started with product strategy. We got to see some sneak peeks. We got to look at the 12 Days of Christmas Advent calendar. We got to see some new upcoming online exclusive products. And then we also got to just sit down and have a conversation and talk about questions we had. And it was a really, really cool experience. Learned a lot through that experience. That was one of my favorite breakouts. Then we met then we went to lunch, and that was where our Swig order was waiting for us with this box. So this box was like propped up in front of the Swig drink. And again, this is from Modern Christmas. This is the alphabet one that's paired with the pennants. Let's see. And inside we got a clear block for 1 million. That's the logo for 1 million. And Erica got one for 2 million. And Dawn got one for 3 million. And we also got a photopolymer stamp, as well as red rubber and then the sticker for that. So I thought that was so cool. I don't know when or how I will use it, but that's a very special keepsake. So that was there. And let's see. Looking at my notes here. After lunch, we met with the marketing team, and we got to see some updates that have already happened to the online store, as well as some updates that are coming. That was exciting. And then we got to stamp with Sarah and Shelly. That was the 3rd breakout group. Let's see. Okay, hang tight for a second because I want to find what we made with Sarah and Shelly. Not really. Hold on. I think it's in the other box. I really do have so much to show you, so let's see. No, it's not in that one. Hold on. Oh. I pulled it out. I forgot that I did. So we got to make this mini album using flip flaps, but is this not so cool? So Melody Hyde, who's one of the concept artists, came up with this idea. It's got an early espresso spine, and you can see that the scoring is just in the perfect places. We all personalized it with our initial. On the inside there's pockets. We've got 3 flip flaps, and these are just photo holders. And then a pocket here. We also did some stamping. Pocket on the other side. All of this was like cut, scored, and ready for us to put together, so we could really just hang out and spend time with Sarah and Shelly. And for those of you who are new to Stampin' Up, Sarah is the CEO, Shelly is the co-founder and board chair, and they are a mother-daughter duo. So it was very special to have some great quality time with them. And then a pocket in the back. Is that not so awesome? Oh, I love it. And then I don't know if you can tell, but there is foam strips in between, and it just perfectly puts everything at exactly the right level. So awesome. All right, let's see. Then we went to I think that I forgot, but this was the postcard that we got from the day before when we met with the events team. But I love this. Your creativity grows the more you give it away. And isn't that the truth? Oh, that's okay. With love from the brand and marketing creative teams. That was the other team besides events. Anyways, there was a big poster on the wall too we could get a picture with. All right, so then after stamping with Sarah and Shelley, we went to concept art and product design. And that was so cool because we got to meet the designers as they introduced themselves. They put up on their PowerPoint the products that they worked on, and it's from, some of them are from a few years ago, some of them were more recent, but it was so cool to put the designer with the product. And we also had a great demonstration of acrylic paints, of an upcoming designer series paper, which actually you saw a little bit on that mini album. So she was showing us how she was creating some of these flowers. And I can't remember which, I think it was this pattern maybe she was showing, or this one, I can't remember, but it was so cool to see it done on camera. So then as part of that visit, we created this amazing two-tone cardstock color chart. And they're like 1-inch squares, and then they did a laser cutter to do these triangles. So they had already glued all the squares down for us, and then we just sat down and glued down all of the triangles. And that's to show both sides of the two-tone cardstock. And I thought that was such a cool resource to have. So it was a labor of love, but we enjoyed just kind of relaxing and gluing these down and chit-chatting with each other. All right, so then let's see. Then we were free for dinner that night, and Brian and I went to Matteo's for dinner, which we thought was fitting because we're DiMatteo or Di Matteo, however you want to pronounce it. So went to Matteo's for dinner, and then at 9 p.m. that night, we had a Santa's workshop in our Christmas jammies. And that workshop was to assemble 2 upcoming kits, which I'm going to show you. And there was a hot chocolate bar. There was crumble cookies. If you've never had crumble cookies, they have different cookies on the menu every week, and they're giant and they are served warm. Most of them, some of them are served cold if they're better served cold, but that was yummy. And then we created 2 kits, and then I've got a ton of gifts from Achievers that they sort of exchange. It felt like a swap. Full disclosure, I did not bring anything for the other Achievers because we have been busy working on product shares, which I forgot to tell you. Took 150 packages to the post office today, so that's why I'm a little bit running on fumes. We got product shares out earlier than we thought. I didn't think it was going to be till next week, but anyways. All right, so let me grab the 2 kits. And they're in sort of disarray. This one I didn't get to. I had too much fun chatting with other Achievers. And so I'll show you the one that I started to assemble. But this is called the Calm and Bright Kit. And it's a little hard to see on camera, but that's because it is a clean and simple card kit. And I absolutely love these cards and all the details. Now, I say simple, but there's a lot of moving parts, but there's a lot of white space, which is one of my favorite things with cards. I'm not always so great at lots of white space, but that one is coming up, and honestly, I'm not sure when these release, but this is a full card kit that comes with stamp set ink, clear block, twine. So Lost Lagoon is the ink in there. And if you've never ordered our kits before, here's the clear block you get. It's basically the same size as our D block. This is the same clear block you get with Paper Pumpkin kits when you're a brand new subscriber. You get a stamp set, twine. And then this is the other kit. I haven't even put my strings on. We were joking because we needed our little floss threaders to help us. I'm like, you know what? I'll just do that part at home. But it is the Nutcracker Tags Kit. Hold on, I think that's what it's called. Ooh, I got it right. Nutcracker Tags Kit, and it actually makes 12 tags, so 3 of each design. And if you've never seen our instructions before, they're amazing. It tells you exactly which pieces and parts. This is just an assembly kit, so no stamp set or anything like that. But let me just show you. So I've put together them for the most part. I still need to add the holly, but I don't know if you can tell, but the crown, the mustache, and the sentiment are all popped up. They tell you exactly where to put the dimensionals as well. So there's the second one. So believe in the magic of Christmas, cheer to last the year. Sending joy. Now hers are the boots and the hat are popped up with the sentiment. And then, oh, I already did 2 of those, didn't I? Hold on, I'm looking for the 4th one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So cute. His little goatee has popped up. And you get all sentiments in all different languages, so you can switch those up if you like. And then they just pair with these little, and I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of glitter on the bottom. Mess-free glitter. And then you would just hang those along with the holly that goes with it, and then the twine. And they tell you exactly how much to cut of the twine. And then the other cool thing is on the instructions themselves, it's light gray, but there's a ruler to help you measure the twine. So kits are a really great thing to gift to people that want a little bit of creative time. They're also a great thing to host a little like kit together with friends or family. So we had fun ourselves doing that. So those were the kits. Let me show you all of the gifts that I got from fellow achievers. I hope you're enjoying this little walkthrough of what we got. If I could have taken you all with me there, I would have. So this was from Dawn and her husband, Richard. Look how cute the little tag is. But this is their clear block holder, the can cover. Brian also got his own from Richard. So cute. I love the little face there. And then there are 2 different glue holders in there, and then ribbon tamers that she showed us how to use. Similar concept to Brenda Quintana's that she makes out of paper, but that was just such a sweet gift. I haven't even opened it yet because it's packaged so beautifully. All right, we'll just do this whole box of fun here. Okay. This was one of the tags that was hanging on, I'm not sure, but look at I don't know, can you see the texture on that? I don't even know what that's from. Or if it's I think it's a type of paper, to be honest, that might be coming up. I don't think we have it yet. I could be wrong. It might be a current product, but I loved this tag. This, I believe, was attached to my bouquet. The other cool thing is when we left the home office on Tuesday, they handed us a vase on the way out so that we could put our flowers in water in the hotel room. This is from Susan Campfield, my buddy, my accountability buddy. There was also a pair of black gloves that I don't know what happened to them, but she gave us those for Friday night's event, which I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But this was a fun fold. Is that not so cute? Wishing you all the best. May you gather happiness. Awesome. This was from Amy Combs. I love this stamp set. We're going to use that tonight on tonight's super quick project. This was a gift box from Wendy Knowles with 2 awesome cards in it. A cute Halloween treat bag, that gorgeous iridescent treat bag. This is from Jill Olson. So fun. This was the tag that was hanging on our pillow gifts on the first night with the hydro jugs. And that's also using the Modern Christmas Designer Series paper, those awesome hoops. I mean, everything was to the nines. This is from Denise Sullivan. It's a little flip-flap book. So cute. Here, I'm going to open this real quick. I haven't even looked inside myself yet. As soon as we got home on Saturday, we went straight back to product shares. Oh, this is so cute. This is awesome. I have to jot my notes from our awesome memories. Isn't that so cute? A little flip-flap book. So grateful. A true story. Love it. This gift was from Sophie Prestrel from France. The tag is absolutely to die for, and she created this perfect bow using the bow tying tool that she gave us. And I just was like, I've seen these before. This is very similar to the fork bow, but you can do all kinds of different sizes of bows. But I love this. I'm a Stampin' Up! Millionaire and I like it. I'm not actually a Stampin' Up! Millionaire. SLC, September 2025. Isn't that so sweet? And it's kind of got like a little sparkle to it. Oh, but this tag, gorgeous. And then let's see. Got a gorgeous scissor charm from Amy Combs that's personalized. Take that out so you can see it closer. But it says Julie, and it says do what you love what you do. This little create $1 million sales retreat 2025. I know that's hard to see, but it's just so special. And then the Stampin' Up! Logo. Is that awesome? Oh, so sweet. And then this is a personalized chamois, I think from Tada Designs, but this was from Melissa Ellis. Look at that, a chamois that has 1 million sales retreat. So cute. All right, and then we also got some million sales retreat swag, a keychain, a pen, and then a notebook. And everything was branded for the Million Sales Retreat. So this was our agenda, which I thought was gorgeous. And then even to the stalls in the bathroom, the back of the stalls said, welcome Million Sales Achievers. I was like, you guys thought of everything. So cool. All right, let me look and see if there was anything else I was gonna show you as far as Thursday goes. I think that there was a couple of, I was just going to show you for lunch on Thursday. I think it was Thursday, or was the 100 grand bars. Was that while you were with me for lunch? Yes. Okay. So on Wednesday, we got 100 grand bars with this little tag attached on behalf of Stampin' Up's policy and education team. So we really had stuff from every department. This was the exclusive Tiffany experience. That was what was in a box in my pillow gift. And then this was the note that was with Brian's gift card. I mean, everything was just to the nines. And then what was so cool is John Klein, who works for Stampin' Up, his wife Holly made me a card with a note. She watches live. And Holly, if you're watching tonight, thank you so much for the card. You're so sweet. I love the note, but isn't that a gorgeous card? I love that. All right, let's see. Okay, so then we're gonna switch gears to Friday, and I have some show and tell from that as well. So we started off with a little bit later brunch, and my two highlights from that were Nutella French toast and made to order omelets. So that was so sweet. And then we had really a free day until the Friday night event. So Brian and I went to the Red Butte Garden and Arboretum, and that was amazing. I had so much fun smelling all the different roses. I love roses and the smell of like tea roses. There was a little too many bees for us, but the bees seemed really happy, so that was a good thing. They kind of kept to themselves. We kept to ourselves, but it was just a gorgeous botanical garden. Then we went to lunch at, what was it called? Brick's Corner, which is Detroit style pizza. And then we picked that place because it was within walking distance to Tracy's Aviary. And that's where we went, where our favorite birds were the owls. We saw some really amazing birds, some hilarious birds. There was a bird, and I don't remember the species, but from Australia or somewhere in the South Pacific, and he was picking up paper cups and throwing them. And then at one point he put the cup on his head and started walking around. It was hilarious. It was very entertaining. So we did that. And then we got back to the hotel to board the bus for our final event. We didn't know where we were going till we got there, right? We were supposed to do something different. We were going to do like a wagon ride and an open air, out in the open, Dutch oven dinner. But the weather forecast in the mountains there was supposed to be rain. So the day before, Stampin' Up had to pivot. But I honestly think that it was meant to be what we ended up doing. So anyways, on the bus on the way, we played bingo. So Brian Pilling, who's on the Stampin' Up team, he's really good at announcing. He acts for fun on the weekends, and he just has a very commanding voice in a good way. And so he was yelling out all the numbers. We all had little bingo cards. I got the first bingo. Brian got a bingo at some point. So we got some fun prizes for that. I think I got a ring holder. Brian got a gift card. And so we had fun. It was like these little bingo cards. I'd never played bingo that way. So it was super fun on the way there. It was about, a 45-minute drive? And we ended up at Courage Reigns. So Courage, Reins. And it's equine assisted therapy for physical, mental, or emotional challenges. So imagine children with disabilities or children with emotional needs. They would actually sit in the arena with the horses, and that instantly gives them sort of a calmer experience. Hearing about Courage Reigns it's an incredible story. And there's a connection with Shelley and Sterling that was very cool. Sterling had seen something about Courage Reigns, started volunteering there, and then donated. And one of the cool things in the arena is we noticed that there was like rubber mixed in with, was it like sawdust or some type of really nice, clean dirt or sawdust, something like sawdust. And I wondered, but didn't really think anything of it. And Shelley let us know that it is Stampin' Up's red rubber, which I thought was so cool. But we got to go into the arena with the horses. Most of them are rescues. They had a Mustang. They had, now I'm not, the one that had the mohawk. He had like the zebra mohawk. I forget what his breed was. My Brian was 100% in his element. He went and said hi to every horse. I had so much fun watching him. Really, I don't know. I could tell he kind of lit up around the horses, and it was just very cool to see that. So they were getting a little bit rowdy. And so I was kind of like, okay, I'm good. But they were being playful, and like, there was a couple of kicks that the horses were doing. They were like biting at each other. It was fun to watch, but I also was like, okay, I've had enough. But then we moved upstairs where we could still see the arena with the horses. And we had a Dutch oven dinner, and it was ribs and chicken and pork, beans, mashed potato. It was delicious. Each of the water bottles had its own little bandana, so I had to take Brian's and mine. But like everything was just, again, they didn't miss anything. So we had bandanas attached to our waters, and then we had peach cobbler with ice cream. And then it was just really a special experience. And then when we were walking out, because I always hate goodbyes, but as we were walking out, they let us each pick a blanket with sort of a southwestern theme. This will be too big to put on camera, but this goes with the colors in our house, and I just thought it was such a beautiful thing. So Brian had this strapped to his backpack because I'm like, we have to come home with the blanket. So I think you ended up carrying it on the plane as one of your carry-ons, but it made it home with us, and it's happy to be in its new home. So I think that was everything. Oh, and then we had I forgot to say, after the Dutch oven dinner, we listened to cowboy poetry. They had somebody come in who did like 8 to 10 poems. And if you've never heard cowboy poetry before, this was my first time. These are really long poems, and I have no idea how he remembered them. He only looked at his notes for what poem to say next, but he wrote all of the poems himself. Some really cute, funny stories, some they were all really based on his own experiences as a cowboy. So that was a really cool way to wrap it up. And then Shelley closed it out with a poem from, her assistant used ChatGPT to help her with the poem. It was a cute little poem to wrap things up. So then we got back to the hotel, and we had one more pillow gift. Again, personalized and with all of those beautiful products. And in the box is a necklace, a bar necklace. And I'm just going to kind of go over the dates, and they're probably going to be a little hard to see. So the first date, well, first it says Stampin' Up on one side. So it's a bar necklace with 4 sides. I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, it says Stampin' Up on this side. Then 2/5/2015, that was my second start date. I joined originally in February of 2010, and then I dropped to rejoin Brian's team on February 5th, 2015. And then on March 5th, 2025 was the date that I reached my million in sales. And then the last side says 1 million. I know you can't see that, but just such a special customized gift. I thought that was really, really sweet. So that was the last gift. Then Saturday morning, we boarded the shuttle to the airport, and then we got home to our babies about 5:30 or so. And then we got right to work back on product shares. So that is the experience. I know a lot of questions have come in. I will answer the ones, I'll answer them to the best of my ability if I know the answers. But let's do a really quick project, because I always feel like when I'm here with you guys, I want to do a project. So this is a super quick project that uses a 6x6 piece of paper, and I want to give a special shout out to Angie Pius from Stamping with Amore for the idea. Thank you, Angie, for the idea. I loved it when I saw it pop across my feed, and I wanted to share it with you in case you haven't seen it. All right, so really quickly, we're going to use the Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. And I love this paper so very much. But this project, once you see it, you'll be able to use it for any occasion. It's a cute little basket. Where did I put the catalog? Here we go. Oh, I did forget one thing really quickly. They gave us an official Stampin' Up badge. It doesn't actually work, but it's the same badge that the employees get, and I thought that was so fun. It even says Million Sales Retreat on there. Million Sales Achiever, so that was super fun. We wore those as we walked around the home office. So I'm using products from, well, some of it. We're gonna use the ribbon, and we're gonna use this gorgeous designer series paper, Traditions of Christmas. And again, 6x6, okay? So those of you that participated in my product shares and you're getting a bunch of 6x6, this is a great product to use for the this little gift basket. So let's see, I'm gonna grab my Simply Scored. I was looking at my notes to make sure I remembered everything. I think I did. All right, so if you had a directional paper, I would start with your direction going top to bottom. This paper is not so much directional, but the first 2 score lines you're gonna wanna do with it going top to bottom versus right to left. And we're just gonna score it 2 inches from each side. So just do 2 inches and rotate 180. And then on the opposite sides, we're gonna do 2 1/4. Okay, so if you're not wanting to just do the 2 measurements, you're gonna do 2 and 4, turn it a quarter turn, you're gonna do 2 1/4 and 3 3/4, okay? All right, then I'm going to look for my bone folder. I was using a bone folder today to burnish the tape on my boxes because I'm using tape that likes to come off. The things we use bone folders for besides paper crafting. All right, so I'm just folding and burnishing all my paper. I will do a project sheet for this, but ran out of time today. So again, if you remember, we did the 2 1/4 and 3 3/4, and then we did the 2 and the 4, or 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 and 2. So you can see that there's a little bit of a narrower section in the middle. So you want that to be horizontal. And I'm showing this on the back side because I think it's harder to see on the pattern side. All right, so with that narrower section horizontal, you're gonna take your paper snips, and I'm just gonna cut up each of those vertical score lines and stop at the horizontal score line. So again, just make sure that narrower section is going horizontal versus vertical, okay? So And I'm just cutting right down the middle, like so. So you've got those 3 sections now, and then turn it 180 and we're going to repeat. Like that. So we kind of got it like this. Okay. All right, now the way this is going to go together is, again, like I said, this is super easy. I knew I was going to be talking for a little while about the retreat, but I did want to bring you a quick and easy project. So the middle section is going to go in first, and then these 2 are just going to meet up in a point like that. So you can kind of see the vision of the basket coming together. The cool thing here is you can see that the points of that piece on the inside, those come up right to where those meet. So it's pretty fail-proof. It can feel like it's, that you might be be off or wonky, but honestly, if you just bring those points together, it's all gonna work just fine. So there's a couple of different ways you can glue this. I am basically going to put a strip of glue here on the left piece on the front, a little strip of glue on the right piece on the back, and then a strip of glue right along the top here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do all of that. Well, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go ahead and just do the right and left pieces first, and then we can come in and put glue on this piece. I did get some adhesive on my hand when I was doing this before, so hopefully this will help just a little bit. So I'm going to do glue here. And again, I'm doing it on the front of the left piece, the back of the right piece. And I'm just doing it right at the top. You don't need to do anything fancy here. And then again, I've got this piece is in first, but we don't have glue on it yet. We can do that in just a moment. And then I'm just gonna bring these 2 together where I just meet that point. The points just meet up, okay? And because of where we put glue, glue's not gonna go anywhere where we don't want it to. Okay, and then on this piece, I'm just gonna come in and put a little strip of glue right there at the top. And then I'm just gonna bring that forward. And I'm using my work surface, but just pressing it down. Real simple, like that, okay? You could put a little bit more glue if you needed to, but you don't really need it. That's gonna hold it together just fine. All right, so then we get a second try at it. And this is up to you if you wanna put it in the same way. I don't really have a preference. Usually I do, but for this one, I'm just gonna have it go in the same way where the left one goes in first and then the right one. So again, we're just gonna do a little strip of glue on the front left piece, little strip of glue on the back right piece. Okay, not worrying about that middle piece. And then we're just gonna meet those points up, just like so. See, I'm just meeting that point. And then I can kind of put this piece down a little bit, and then I'm just gonna do a little strip of glue right on the top there, and then just let that close inside. So hopefully you see the vision. Is that not so cute? And then all we're gonna do is pinch in the sides here. And again, you can throw in a handful of like Hershey's Kisses, Hershey's Nuggets. I think some little mini Ghirardelli squares would fit in here. We tried some really delicious chocolates at the home office from the brand Chocovia. I think you can get it at Costco. I was trying to do a bunch of research. Jen Campbell, who's one of the Stampin' Up! Team members, she had a bowl of the Dubai chocolate, and those would be super cute in here too if you can find those, but the brand is Chocovia. So you can leave it just like it is if you wanted to. You could add a handle. I'm gonna show you kind of how Angie closed hers. I thought it was so cute. So I'm just putting my index finger, I've got my middle finger and thumbs on these kind of corners, and then I'm just gonna push in from the inside and pinch. And it just gives you this really cute, like, basket look. Oh my gosh. I didn't put any score lines. It's just natural pinching right there in the middle. And then I'm going to grab my hole punch. I just have like an 1/8 of an inch hole punch. I'm sure most of you have one of these, but I'm just lining up those points here like that. And then I'm gonna just put this in and come down, I don't know, about 1/2 inch. You're technically punching through 1, 2, 4. Depends on where you put it. I happen to go just above that. So it's 4 layers of paper instead of 6. But if you feel a little bit of friction, it's probably because you're punching through 6 layers of paper. So we're just gonna do a little hole punch there. And then I'm gonna tie a little bow. All right, so we're gonna use the Real Red Shiny Ribbon. I haven't gotten to work with this, but Brian has. So you can see it's just got a little bit of shine. I'm gonna just cut a little angle on the edge. Brian does all of the ribbon for product shares. He's a saint. So you've been up close and personal with all the ribbon. And then I'm just gonna feed it through the hole there. We're just gonna tie a bow. All right, let's do it this way. So you want to put your treats in before you tie the bow. That would be my tip for you. And I'm not going to worry about the ribbon, the shiny side of the ribbon facing out. I'm just going to kind of do whatever here. Let's see if I can get this to line up properly so it's not too wonky. Did you guys see me use my stomach as a third hand? Does anybody else do that when they're tying bows? There we go. Zhuzhy, zhuzhy. That looks pretty good. And then we're gonna trim. Well, I managed to cut that, or to tie that ribbon with no shiny part on the outside. It still looks adorable though. Excuse me. Get that unruly ribbon. Well, it's not unruly, but I'll just put my little pin in it. All right, but is that not so stinking cute? But we got to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to show you a brand new stamp set that I haven't even used yet. The Sign Design Bundle is what we're going to use. It's one of my favorite bundles from the online exclusives. And because it's a new stamp set, you get to see how I kind of prime my stamps. So here is the punch, probably easier to see it from back here. I love this punch so much. We're gonna use Secret Sea ink. And then here is Sign Design. And we're gonna use Merry and Bright, okay? Now, this is a stamp set where the negative it's like the negative. So Merry and Bright will not be inked up, but everything around it will be. So let me show you how I prepped my stamps, especially photopolymer. And this will be good because, go that way, all of our stamps are going to be photopolymer in the future. All right, so let me pick up the stamp set on my clear block. And then this is a high polymer eraser. I've got it on my favorites page. It is really made out of polymer, and I'm just gonna gently kind of rub the flat edge of that on my stamp set. And that just kind of removes any of the manufacturing residue from the creation process, the photopolymer stamp. Stampin' Up! Makes these in-house in Kanab. And I'm being very gentle. I'm not adding any eraser shavings, but that just kind of, it's really hard to tell, but it kind of roughs it up just a little bit. It's not damaging the stamp set, and I didn't do any pressure. I'm just kind of moving it, the flat edge along my stamp, okay? And that's gonna pick up ink really nicely. So I'll bring in, actually, I already have a scrap because I was testing to make sure that this would actually fit on this cute little basket. All right. Just make sure I get good ink coverage. I'm not pressing down too hard on, I'm not giving my stamp set CPR. Just tap, tap, tapping. Good coverage there. And look how nicely that's stamped the first try. So again, if you haven't used these high polymer erasers, they are a must-have. And I actually use that on every stamp set when I first get it. Sometimes I'll use it subsequent times for the same stamp, but you typically don't need to do it once you've already kind of primed it once. I don't even know if that's the right term, primed. But again, I love our bundles, our punch bundles, because I can come in and I always punch upside down. And I am squeezing to where the paper's not going to fall out, but that gives me a little bit of fine tuning to gently move that paper so that I've got the perfect border all the way around. But is that not such a cool punch out? Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So this Secret Sea is one of the coordinating colors in this designer series paper, okay? All right, so let me put stuff out of the way. And I think dimensionals. This is a little bit curved here, but I think if I use 3 dimensionals, it should work. As you can tell, I didn't do a sample beforehand. We'll just do 3 dimensionals there. And then we will pop it in here. I'm gonna bend that just a little bit because my little thing is a little bit bent. I think that looks good right there. There we go. I'm just gonna kind of put my fingers in there and pinch from the other side. Oh, it's so cute. Wouldn't that be so cute on the dinner table? Or even just to take to coworkers, or just a sweet little basket. So Angie Pius, thank you so much for such the cute idea. Like I said, super quick and easy, and you can make a lot of these really fast. Probably the longest part might be tying the bow. All right, so there's the project for tonight. Why don't we go ahead and jump into tonight's Q&A. If you've got a question for me that you haven't already added to the chat, put a Q in front of it. That makes it into my queue. I'm about 20 to 30 seconds ahead of you, so I might miss a couple questions near the tail end if they come in towards the end. You can always email me at support@thepaperpixie.com. It's me behind the inbox. Always happy to answer your questions. So let me get those teed up here. Laura. So that's going in my cart now. Oh, it's such a good stamp set. All right, Shift Q. Let's pull up the Qs. Let's see. All right, we are going to start with Francis. Tomorrow's stamp set sale, does that include stamps from annual catalog or just the stamps and tools online? It is all stamps. So all catalogs, all publications, online exclusive. So all stamps plus stamp tools, which I'm not going to remember all the different stamp tools, but clear blocks, stays on, simply chamois, stamp and scrub, stays on cleaner is what I meant if I said stays on. Stamp and mist. I think that about sums it up. But I will put a link in the video description directly to that whole category. That will all be 15% off tomorrow. And again, it's 24 hours only, midnight Mountain Time to 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you're on my email list, I sent an email out today. I'm going to send another email out tomorrow. You can always join my list in the video description. You'll get a free project sheet, a free shadow box worksheet for joining my email list as a thank you. But again, that stamp sale is tomorrow, September 18th, for 24 hours only. Let's see. So I answered this, Jennifer, in case you missed it, but I got this little J, Elsa Peretti initial necklace. Love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. The advent calendar, I believe, Nan, is $99. The value in the calendar itself is, I think, over $120, plus there's a stamp set. So it's a really good value. And these products will not be available any other time. They're only available in the advent calendar. Oh, good question. Darlene said, how did you fit all the pillow treats in your backpacks? We typically pack fairly light. Brian's backpack expands quite a bit. We just kind of fit things in nooks and crannies. So I have a backpack, and again, it's not like what you think of like a school backpack. It's a little bit bigger than that, but it's like a day pack. And it can fit under the seat in front of me if I need it to, but I also have a shoulder bag. So I had kind of a combination of things fitting in in between. We had a little bit of extra space to begin with, so that's how we did it. We did have to filter a couple of things, but all the good stuff made it home with us for sure. So my stamp set, I believe, Nancy, is going to be in the 2027 annual catalog. I think that's the time frame, sometime in 2027. So it'll be worth the wait. So my necklace is sterling silver, which I always giggle that $500 gets you sterling silver at Tiffany. Oh, goodness. Let's see. So the Million Sales Retreat is for those who reach 1 million or an increment of 1 million from April to March. So for example, if somebody reaches 1 million this month, they're going to get to go on the next retreat next September, if that makes sense. So you get to go the year that you earn your next million. So it'll be a while before I go on the next one. Let's see. I will keep this in mind, Denise. She's asking about the photo album would be such a neat Christmas gift. I will tell you that it took a long time to put together. So it's typically, I know I've been doing a little bit more complicated projects. That would be like a whole separate, like really kind of a long class. And I don't know if I will do that or not, but I will keep it in mind. Let's see. So Kim, good question. They told us when the kits come out, but I don't remember. I believe it's before the end of the year. And I want to say the next online exclusives release is, well, I think they might come out next month now that I think about that, because the kits come out more often than the online exclusives. So I'm going to guess it's next month, but don't quote me on that. I would expect, because they're kind of Christmas ones, that we'll see them in October, I think. Let's see. No, so the bow maker was made by a fellow achiever in France. So now if you go on Etsy and look for bow makers, I think you can find similar ones. So I would recommend that you do that. I'm not sure that Sophie would ship to the US or if she's even selling them. But check on Etsy for bow maker and you should find a couple of different options similar to Sophie's. Yeah, same question there, Sharon. Check Etsy for that. I'm not sure that Sophie is selling them. Okay, so in total, Mary, there was 13 achievers in our group that attended the retreat. It was amazing. And one of the best things about the trip was just getting to spend time with the other achievers. Many of us had never met before. The coolest part about the group is that we all had totally different journeys, different lengths of time, different types of businesses. You have people that are completely online, like my business. You have people that are completely in person, like Denise's business. You know, Jill, who had joined the year that Stampin' Up! Opened. I think a few of us joined in the last like 10 years. So it was just such a cool experience to meet everybody, hear more about their businesses, their journeys, you know, how they came to Stampin' Up! It was amazing. So the plates for the larger Empress, Diane, I'm not sure. I would check the Anna Griffin website. It should have those details in the description. I think the new Empress Elite, which is not the version that I have both sizes, but the larger Empress, which is called the Empress Elite, I believe has bigger plates than the one that I got with my version of the larger Empress. So check the description, Diane. It should give you the measurements on those plates. Let's see. Yes, Barb, I can show that. Let me actually pull it out really quickly. If you're familiar with Brenda Quintana's ribbon, what did she call it? I'm forgetting the ribbon wrapper. Brenda's got a name for it and I totally blanked on the name. It's similar to that, but it's just made out of plastic. So I'm going to go ahead and open this and see if I can't show it to you now, because otherwise, Barb, I will forget. That's that perimenopausal brain of mine. Let's see. Pardon the noise. The rubber band. it's good and secure. All right, hold on, almost there. Oh, and there was one more thing in here from Dawn, the mail mate. I'll show you that too. I'll show that really quickly. So the mail mate, this is so that I know if I need to add extra postage to my cards. Okay, so she gave us the medium. That M is upside down. Medium, small, and large. So let me find a ribbon. I'm guessing that this is, that's large, right? Yeah, it looks large. Okay, we'll do the large. We'll do the ribbon that I used tonight. All right, I'm gonna flip the camera so you can see this. Where am I going? Okay. Hang tight, Barb. Oh, hold on, let me take your thing off the, there we go. Oop. Come back a screen here. Okay, so this is considered one of the large spools. So I'm going to actually feed this ribbon through the slot first. I think I'm doing this right. They did do a little demonstration for us. And then, I don't know if you can see that, that's gonna fit right in the center of the spool. Oh my gosh, so smart. So it's just like Brenda Quintana's. But what I love about it is with the ribbon tamer, like the ribbon comes out no problem and that just rotates, but I can drop my spool of ribbon on the floor. Not that I recommend that, and it's not gonna come unraveled. So same kind of thing. So check out Brenda Quintana's video, or if you wanted the 3D printed ones, you can check out Dawn Griffith's website, okay? So it's very, very cool. I think Richard was having to do like metric measurements and all kinds of crazy stuff to get those to fit. But so they've got a bunch of different sizes. I think they've got even larger than large, depending on the spool of ribbon, but super cool. All right, let me come on back to the cues. We're almost there. All right, let's see. So the Advent calendar, Becky, is midnight Mountain Time, September 23rd. So that's going to be before I'm live next, because my next live show will be September 24th. If you're on my email list, you'll get a reminder about that Advent calendar. I'll give some more information as well. I think we just got the marketing materials today, so I'll be sending that out in the next couple of days. But midnight Mountain Time, September 23rd. Let's see. So the ribbon tamer, Raquel, is from Dawn Griffith, dawnstampingthoughts.net. That's her website. I'm doing that from memory, dawnstampingthoughts.net. She probably has information there in case it's on a different website of hers to sell those. But again, dawnstampingthoughts.net, and that's Dawn Griffith and her husband, Richard. Same thing with the mailmate, Bobby. That was also from dawnstampingthoughts.net. Okay. And it has like the measurements on there, the weight, really, really cute. Okay. All right. That is the end of the questions, you guys. Thank you so much. Oops. Didn't push the button hard enough. I hope you enjoyed tonight's live stream. A little different than my normal stream. I had to give you a little project, but I wanted to share the Million Sales Retreat with you because, you know, I couldn't get there without each and every one of you. So I am so grateful for all of your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was such a special experience. I have all of you to thank for that. So thank you so much. We had a wonderful time. We're happy to be home with our babies. I am off on another trip this weekend and another trip next weekend. So it's chaos around here, but we got product shares out. I moved. Okay, so Pixie Patron again is going to be next Thursday, September 25th. I will be live again September 24th. The Advent calendar goes live September 23rd. Lots of good stuff. And don't forget, tomorrow, September 18th, is the 24-hour stamp sale. 15% off all stamps. I love that so much. And stamp tools. Okay, so I will, after the stream, we'll add the link to the description so you can go check out that sale. You can browse tonight and make up a wish list, be ready to shop for tomorrow. And don't forget, you'll earn Stampin' rewards if your order is $20 or more. So again, look at stamp sets from the new mini catalog, the new online exclusives. We had a bunch of new products that launched this month, and I love that the stamps are going to be 15% off from those. Typically they are not. So yay, Stampin' Up! Thank you. I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed week. I will see you next Wednesday, September 24th, 2025, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for episode 390. I've got episode 24 of Pixie Patron next Thursday, September 25th. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week. Here's a special shout out to my Pixie patrons. I haven't updated the credits since the last live stream, so if any of you have joined since then, my apologies. It will update next week. But here's a shout out to my Pixie patrons. Thanks so much for your support. Have a wonderful and blessed week, and we'll see you next time. Take good care. Bye.